Hello dear friends, it's Fisher here. So today we continue with our beautiful stories, The Power of Spirit by Alfred Hosp, also known as Freddy in the book. So today Bruno's giving a talk, and then there was a woman, and then she's so worried, and then because and then back to 1950s, like the Soviet Union, there's a tension between the Hungary and the Soviet Union. And then he's worried about the woman from Austria is worried about the war might broke out, so the Soviet Union might invaded Austria. So she's so worried. And then Bruno said to her, "Now, do not take up any more evil, dear woman. The conflicts between nations are not your concern. You have nothing to do with them. You should also not trouble yourself with them. Just trust in God's help and in His protection." And after a long pause, and Bruno said again, "Do you now trust in God's omnipotence, and that all people who have faith live in His care and protection?" And then after a while, people say yes. And Bruno go on and said, "Do you also believe that it is possible for God to protect the whole of Austria? Indeed, the whole world as well. God helps, but on account of human free will, only when some people, and they might only be a very few, pray for peace without harboring the slightest doubt as they do so. And so I now ask each and every one of you, do you have faith in the continuance of peace? Yes or no?" And then the friends finally say yes. So just a little story here. And it's very important, as in my previous video, I always say human beings worry too much. It's always worry. If you're worrisome, you always have something to worry about, dear friends. Yes, people around me, and it seems like I'm the careless person because I worry nothing. Oh, very little. I can't say I worry nothing. So very little, and then the worry does not stay in my mind for more than a few seconds. So how often you hear people around you say, "Oh, I worry about this and that. I worry about my house. I worry about my job. I worry about my car. I worry about my son, my daughter, my husband, my wife, my parents, or whatever, my grandparents." So people do worry too much. And then I talk to my wife. I say where you think worry come from? She said, "I don't know." I said, "Your perception. Your perception of the reality. You perceive these things will happen this way, happen in a negative way. So you worry about it. The more you worry about it, the more you attract to it. If you worry about a bad thing will happen because that's where your focus is. Where your focus is where your attention will go. Where your attention is just where your energy will go. So if you focus on bad thing will happen because you're mentally manifested. Just go and have a look at the ancient Hermetic principles. The number one is the principle of mentalism. Everything is all happen in our mind first. We first have the thoughts and then we take action. If people want to love, to give some money to the homeless people, and then first they had a thought and then they put it in action. Same thing when people want to steal something, and then first they had a thought, and then they put in actions. So guard your gate of your thoughts, dear friend. Do not accept any negative thoughts. If any negative thoughts arise in your mind, in your brain, and then you just say, "No, I don't want to believe that. Okay, I want peace." So believe in peace then. If you want a peace, you're gonna believe in peace and act accordingly. You can't have a peace if you act in a violent way. It doesn't work. Same thing, if you want to make a cup of tea, you can't make a cup of coffee. You will never get to tea. So you first, whatever you want, and I hope it's good. So focus on it. And then you mentally will manifest it. So the old saying, the Jesus now say, when you pray, believe that you have received. So he's talking about the mentalism. When you pray to God, so believe you have received it. So you mentally manifest that, of course. And the thing will come to you when it serves a good purpose to your life. And things normally don't come to you when it doesn't serve a good purpose to your life. And do not pray to God for whatever you want, but pray to God for what you need. And God will give it to you, because it serves a purpose for your spiritual development. And also we always need to trust God, and then always trust His power. And again, I'm not talking about God in a religious perspective. God is God. God is love. God is a source of creation. And that energy, and then the spirit, the super spirit, the spirit. And I mentally, my mind cannot comprehend what God is, but I can feel it. I can feel it when I have a love towards my parents. I have a love towards people. I have love towards my wife. I can feel it. God is there. So pay attention to your feeling, dear friends. And here, another important point Bruno mentioned is on the account of human free will. Very important, free will. So if nobody pray for peace, there will be no peace. Okay, so everybody has to choose what they want for their life and for others' life. And don't forget, free will is very important. We have a choice to choose good or bad. I know people don't like to hear good and bad. I had enough, hearing about this good and bad. I don't want to hear about anything good and bad. I'm sorry, dear friends. Spiritually speaking, there's only good and bad. There's a duality. There's no gray zone. Like there's no neutral. You can't stay in the neutral. There's only positive, negative. There's like two energy integrating each other. So it's always like that. And then you can't stay out of it, unfortunately. So we better face it and recognize, okay, we have the power, we have the free will to choose to be good and be healthy and live peace, have peace and harmony in your life. And other countries concerned, so whether there's a war like broke out in other countries, this and that, it's not your concern. If you live in peace, and you live in peace with your neighbors, and everybody living in peace with their neighbors, there'll be no war, there'll be no conflict, no fight, nothing. So first, as I said it again, we change the world by changing ourselves. And then we change ourselves by changing ourselves inside, the inner conviction first. Okay, dear friends, wish you have a good day and God bless.